Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans potentially trading John Metchie, who was a second-round pick for the Texans a couple years ago. We know this is a guy that the Texans had a lot of hope for when they drafted him, but it just hasn't really fully panned out. And look, I think we can use the very, 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 very good excuse of him starting off his career with having leukemia. That is a really good excuse of why the career has not started off. And then, why his career has not started off the way we hope it, the way the Texans and the way us Texans fans hoped it would be. All right, and then we can look at his first season. Struggling a little bit. There were struggles. Yeah, of course, there were struggles last year. In 2023, 158 receiving yards. It wasn't very good, but just didn't reach the potential in that first season. Only got 30 targets. But this year the targets went up. Some of the numbers went up. We still haven't seen him take that full leap. And I think, knowing the fact that he's been playing on a team at times where, there are a lot of more talented wide receivers on the team outside of him, like Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs last year at some points. But then I also look at last year when Tank at the end of the year, when Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs are both out, for the season at the end of the year, and you would have hoped John Metchie, that would be the time for him to step up and take the right jump, and just doesn't happen. Only 254 receiving yards and one receiving touchdown on the season for Metchie. And the reason I'm talking about the Texans potentially trading him is because there was an article on Bleacher Report of one trade each NFL team should consider before the 2025 season starts. And the Texans, their trade that it was mentioned with them is flip John Metchie III for draft picks. I think getting into this conversation is, what can the Texans actually get for John Metchie? This is a guy who had a lot of value when the Texans drafted him as a second-round pick. I think he was a great player when the Texans brought him in. But, he only has a little bit over 400 receiving yards in 2 seasons. Does he really have a lot of value? I think the best you're going to be able to get for him is probably a 6th-round pick swap. I don't think you're going to be able to get a 5 for him. It's either a 6th-round pick swap or probably a 7th-round pick swap. So, but at the same time, the Texans have a lot of depth at the wide receiver position. Do you really want to keep Metchie? It might be good to get a 6th-round pick swap because the Texans got Nico Collins. They've got Christian Kirk. They just drafted, both Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, both the guys from, what is it, Minnesota? No. Iowa State, my bad. Both the guys from Ohio State, they signed Braxton Berrios. They signed Justin Watson. They still have Xavier Hutchinson. He's still on the roster. So there's a lot of depth on this wide receiver room for the Texans. And so, look, I think one guy has to get. I think one of John Metchie or Hutchinson has to be traded. And honestly, at this point, as a Texans fan, I have more belief and a hope in Xavier Hutchinson than I do John Metchie. I actually think Hutchinson could turn out to be a solid player potentially for the Texans. Let me know your thoughts on the Texans potentially trading John Metchie away. And that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Texans.